Hi, this is Kat at Haynes Physical Therapy, and today I'm going to talk to you about sacroiliac joint pain, as well as show you a couple easy self-adjustments that you can do to help with treating pain there. So whenever I say sacroiliac joint, let me just go ahead and show you. That's just referring to the name of the bones that make up the joint. So you have your sacrum right here, and then you have your iliac bone or your ilium, so your sacroiliac joint, which is this little space right here. So you have your right SIJ and your left SIJ, and it sits right below your lumbar spine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then as you can see here on the front, you have your pubic symphysis, so that's the other joint we kind of need to worry about with the pelvis. Okay, back to the back there. So SIJ pain is actually one of the most common sources that kind of contribute to low back pain. I would say about 15 to 30% of people with chronic low back pain may have some contribution from the SIJ. It's overlooked sometimes just because A, it's difficult to diagnose, and B, it has a pretty complex etiology, meaning it can come from a variety of things. So on that topic, it can be traumatic or it can be atraumatic. So traumatic causes, that could be anything, like pregnancy, a car wreck, or any kind of jarring fall, especially if you fall into a stride stance, or if you fall and land, on one hip, on one buttock, that can definitely kind of jilt that joint and not feel too good. So those would be traumatic causes. Atraumatic causes can be things like arthritis, scoliosis, any type of cumulative injury, things like that. It can be difficult to distinguish from other sources of low back pain because there's just lots of overlap in here, and it can be experienced differently, depending on the person. So some people feel it as low back pain. It can also be in the buttock, even into the thigh. It can be triggered by different things. Sometimes it's single leg activities, whether it be ascending, descending stairs, even walking, sitting for prolonged amounts of time. As far as kind of hashing out the actual source of your pain, what your pain generators are, I definitely would recommend getting in touch with a skilled physical therapist, maybe before even trying some of these exercises, but they should be able to help you out with kind of whittling down what you should focus on. So on that note, I'll go ahead and show you guys a couple self-adjustment techniques that you can do at home to help with SIJ pain. And now we're going to review a couple techniques that you can use for sacroiliac joint pain. So the first self-adjustment is going to be lifting up this leg. So we'll just pretend that he has right SIJ pain or pain on that right side more. So basically what he's going to do is an isometric. So that means you're not going to really move. You're kind of just kicking the muscles in and holding. We'll do 5-second holds. So he's going to use his hands for resistance, hold right there, and then basically try and use his hands for resistance while pulling the leg down. So he's pulling into hip extension and engaging those glutes, that whole posterior chain there. You're going to hold for 5 seconds, repeat 3 times. Good. And then if you want, you can also do it on the other side, but the important thing with these is that you're going to always end with isometric hip adduction. So what that means is you're going to bend both knees, and then you can use a pillow, ball, your hands, whatever. Basically what you're doing is providing resistance and then trying to bring your knees in towards each other. Same thing, you want to do that for about 5 seconds. And with this, you're essentially kind of resetting the pubic symphysis, or that joint we talked about earlier. You may or may not get kind of a pop or a click. The fancy word for that is a cavitation, and that may happen and be loudest on the first time, and it may not happen every single time you do these exercises, but I wouldn't focus on that just because they can still be beneficial with or without the pop. So anyway, first one was lifting this leg up and pulling down, doing the 5-second holds. You're going to come back down and then do the adduction isometric, so pushing in. Perfect, so that's the first one. The second one is a little bit more advanced. So basically what you're going to do is have both hips up kind of at 90 this time. And then what you're going to do is an opposite motion. So you're going to pull down this leg while pushing up on this leg. Same thing, you're going to want to do a 5-second hold for 3 reps, and you're actually going to alternate with these. So perfect, just like that. You want to go ahead and get 3 on each side, and then same thing with the other one. You're going to go ahead and come down. And then you're going to do the hip adduction. So 5 seconds of the pushing in just to kind of reset and click out. Perfect. Okay, so number 3, this one is for an in flare or an out flare of the pelvis, which is a little bit controversial if you look up all that stuff. But clinically, we've seen some pretty good results with it, so we'll talk about it. So this is closer to the camera, so I'll just show you. But basically, you're going to bring this hip up to 90 degrees flexion there, and then you're going to go into internal rotation. So basically You're going to rotate or kind of bring this foot out. Then what you're gonna do is take this hand, put it on the outside of that knee, and then you're kind of pushing your knee outwards against that hand while maintaining this rotation in the hip. Same thing, 5-second holds. So you're gonna have 3 reps of that, and then you're also going to switch and go into external rotation of the hip. So basically kind of bringing the leg in like so. What you're doing here is using this opposite hand because you're basically pushing this knee towards that opposite shoulder. Perfect. Yeah, so let's review that one more time. So you're gonna rotate out and then kind of push into your hand outwards. Perfect. And then the other one, you're gonna rotate that foot in, then push towards opposite shoulder. And then, like always, what you wanna do is end with that adduction. So go ahead and put that down. And then you can use hands, ball, pillow, whatever. Just push inwards. That's it. Okay, and those are 3 self-adjustment techniques that you can do to help treat SIJ pain.